custom stinger animations in OBS. Now you can go download any stinger animation on the web or pay for one, but let's go ahead and just make our own. Okay, so I'm not a pro at DaVinci Resolve, but I am going to show you using standard DaVinci Resolve transitions to show you exactly how easy it is to just create your own custom stinger animation. First thing you want to do is bring in your assets. In this particular case, I'm bringing in a background room and a wallpaper that I'm going to use for the stinger overlay. Now let's make a new timeline, leave it timeline 1, and also make another timeline. Leave it timeline 2. Now the reason I do that is in order for me to get the transparency out of DaVinci, this is the best way I figured out how to do it. So open up your first timeline, which is going to be your stinger transition, add in the wallpaper. In this particular case, it's just a standard image. And then go into your effects library, under video transitions, scroll all the way down to the bottom and choose burn away. Put burn away on the left. And I'm going to use burn away on the right. I'm going to shrink this down so you can see it. And also you want stinger transitions to be pretty quick. So now if you take a look, you'll see it burns in my logo and then burns out the logo. All right. Now what we want in reality when we export this is for the black part of this to be transparent. So whatever is below it in OBS will show. The best way to do this is to go back to your media pool, open up timeline 2, and insert your sample background image into the scene. The reason we're doing this is to make sure that you are able to see something behind the stinger transition while we're testing it out here in DaVinci, but we'll remove that later. Next, bring timeline 1, toss it right up above your background image. I'll go ahead and just make these the same size. So now basically we've got our stinger over top of our sample background. And if I play this, you'll see that you can't see the sample background. What we need to do is give an alpha transparency to this transition. Go into the color tab and make sure that you have your timeline selected that has the transparency in it. If you hit play, you'll be able to see it. Now, the best way to do this that I've found is to right mouse click over here, add an alpha source, and connect the blue to the blue. Like I said, I'm not a pro, but blue to blue makes sense to me. Now we're not seeing the correct result yet because you need to come down here into the qualifier section, okay? That's going to allow you to select from the picker. You can come in and select the color that you want to get rid of. Now you'll notice right away that it kind of did the exact opposite of what we wanted. That's fine. You come back down here and there's a button called invert. Click that, and now if I scrub through this, you'll see that the burn is happening and the transparency is there, but I'm having a little bit of a problem right here. You can see that it's picked up more than I really wanted it to. So what you're able to do is come down and drag the luminance down. You can actually see the range of luminance that it's trying to get rid of. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this a little bit more until the background is showing, but the rest of my colors are staying pretty much where they should be. So hit the play again, and you can see how the stinger is going to work. Back over to the Edit tab. Let's test it. Looking good. Okay. We want to get rid of this background. It was just a test anyway, to make sure that we could verify that everything was working. It's time to export. Go into the Delivery tab, and this is where it becomes super important because you need to be able to export with an alpha transparency. I pick QuickTime. I also choose GoPro Cineform, and you have to drop it down and choose RGB 16, and then you have an export alpha option that comes up. Click that, and I'm going to go ahead and change my frame rate to 30 frames per second. You can change it to whatever you want for your needs, and then let's export. I'm going to save it to my directory where I did my test earlier. I'm going to call it Stinger Burn 3 this time, and add to render queue and render. Boom. It's done. All right, now the fun part. Let's jump into OBS. Now all you have to do inside of OBS is go over on the right side over here that you can just barely see and click plus to add a scene transition and choose Stinger from the list. I'll just name it Stinger 2. And this dialog box here allows you to choose a video file. So let's choose the Stinger Burn 3 from earlier. And what you're able to do is define a transition point. You're switching from A to B. So 2 different scenes. So we want to give it a transition point in milliseconds. I'm going to give it 1,000, which is equal to 1 second. And if I go down to the bottom here, I can hit preview. And that worked about perfect. So you can see A, B, and back again. Now there's a couple of small little tweaks I could do within DaVinci to get this working a little bit better. But let's hit OK. And let's give it a try. Full screen. Here I am. Back to the Pro Circle corner. That's it. Now there's one extra thing that would help me out a lot, is if you go ahead, check out my playlist where you can watch my progress from scratch till now on my journey to becoming pro. And hopefully this helped you. If it did, comment down below and let me know. Thank you.